Start the housekeeping.
Thank you for participating in today's meeting. Please do not connect to Zoom or teleconference while in the room, and please silence all devices. Click on the globe at the bottom of your screen to select either English or Spanish. Public comment will be taken after each item. If you are in the auditorium and wish to comment, please use the iPads located in the lobby. For meetings in other locations, please complete a blue speaker card and provide it to a South Coast AQMD employee. Speakers may be limited to a total of 3 minutes or less for all agenda items, and times may be shortened to ensure all speakers can be heard. A countdown timer will be displayed on the screen for each public comment. Word time will be allotted for Spanish translation that is not simultaneous. For questions or issues on public comment, please call the public advisor at 909-396-3247. That's 909-396-3247. Please adhere to the speaker time limit and treat others with courtesy, civility, and respect. Failure to do so can result in your mic being muted or you being removed from the meeting. Be aware that this meeting is being recorded. By participating, you are authorizing recording of audio and visual content presented during the live event and consent to subsequent use of the recording in the public domain by South Coast AQMD.
I'd like to call to order the Technology Committee meeting for June and ask for roll call, please.
Supervisor Dole. Absent. Supervisor Hagman.
Supervisor Dole, can you hear me?
Yes,
Thank you. I'm here.
thank you. Mayor Lock Dawson is absent. Mayor McCallum
Here.
and Board Member Padilla Campos.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Very good. We'll go on to item 1, which is to issue an RFP to replace electric vehicle charging infrastructure at this headquarters, presented by Vasilios Papapostoulou. How did I do?
Perfect. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
That was a challenge for me. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. So again, today's agenda item 1, issuing a request for proposals to replace our electric vehicle charging infrastructure here at South Coast AQMD headquarters. Next slide, please. So the charging network that we have outside here in our parking lot is pretty old and outdated. It was installed in phases between 2011 and 2017. So the oldest chargers are 13 years old, and the most recent ones, 7, 8 years old. Many of those are not repairable anymore, and the entire network is out of warranty. Next slide, please. You see there, go back. I added a couple of photos. One is very characteristic of what's going on. That is online, actually, but it doesn't work. You see a calendar there. You see a prompt to connect to Wi-Fi. There is an interface. It's a non-functional charger. Others are offline. They don't work. Next slide. So the purpose of this RFP is to solicit proposals to identify qualified, experienced, suitable vendors that will be able to replace the charger boxes, a total of 55 boxes we have in our network, level 2 EV charging units for light-duty passenger vehicles, upgrade the software on the box, on the ground, and also develop an advanced platform for real-time remote monitoring. That would be a data platform for the admin side of things, ourselves, to monitor the network on a 24/7 basis. And also, this RFP should include a 7-year minimum type of warranty agreement that will include labor, parts servicing, repairs, replacements, and so on and so forth from the time that the new network is in place. Next slide. So as we all know, I guess, the network is in a parking lot that is multi-sectioned. So from left to right, west to east, we have a few chargers by the CC8 parking area. Then we have another few in the front lobby parking area. And then on the east side of our parking lot, we have chargers under the solar carport and quite a few in the upper deck parking area. And you see those indicated with those circles on the map on the slide. Next slide, please. So the recommended action for this item is to issue request for proposals or RFP 2024-13 to replace the electric vehicle charging infrastructure at the South Coast AQMD headquarters.
Thank you
And
very
this
much.
concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have Tesla chargers now
We do have chargers that are functional, yes, online.
with
Tesla. Oh, I'm sorry. No, we
compatible with
don't.
Tesla? In this change out, will we have any compatible with Tesla?
As long as there is the adapter available with the end user, I'm personally a Tesla owner.
Yeah, we'll have to see who applies for the RFP. But most of these chargers, they all should be compatible with Tesla, either through Tesla directly or through an adapter that's provided.
Okay, very good. Any other comments, questions? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So we have a total of 94 chargers on the premises, but only 55 are going to be updated? Is that because the other ones are functioning properly, or why are we only doing 55?
Yeah, Board Member Padilla Campos, this is a great question. So we have 55 charger boxes. Some of those boxes are single charging port boxes and others are dual charging port boxes. So that's a total of 94 charging ports altogether in
essentially
55
everything.
boxes. Yes.
Everything.
So we're replacing the entire network
Got it.
in this parking lot out here.
Got it. And will the equipment belong to AQMD, or is it owned by the vendor? How does that work?
So we will be the owner and host of the network, and then the service will be provided by the installer, the vendor
yeah.
who will install the network.
Got it. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Other comments, questions from committee members?
Move the item.
Pardon?
I'll move the item.
Very good. We
And
need
I echo your statement that hopefully they're compatible for any electric vehicle, any make when you go out for the RFP.
Yeah. We'll go for public comments first. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to speak on this item? Line up in the queue. I have no public comments here.
Chair, we have one public comment online, Harvey Eder.
Harvey, go ahead.
Hello, am I being heard?
Yes, you are, Harvey.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Harvey Eder. I'm speaking for myself and Public Solar Power Coalition. I think the issue that Commissioner Representative Campos brought up, who's going to own this and control it? I think it should be controlled or owned by the district, and I assume we should try to set a model here that could be used throughout neighborhoods. I know there's a couple of neighborhood associations. I see at the library across the street, they have meetings at the district. We ought to hook up with those associations and expand this, and also to the local industry and city, and move from this thing about, garden equipment, and actually the seed of setting up municipal utilities and expanding that with co-ops, et cetera. Right of first refusal for companies that go bankrupt, for workers to buy them out, and the government to provide loans to do that, et cetera, is being done now and looked at in Europe, over in Britain. All right, so there need to be changes, and it has to be put into this and thought out now. And we need to take some hard action. So let's reassess the situation. Things are changing, and technology is not just hardware and stones and tools. It's organizational structure, cooperation. That's what we survive. Not only competition and predator prey, but cooperation as well. Anyway, if we're going to lose that, we're going to lose our species and take 10 million with us. Enough. You know, the depreciating this life through value in the other life with the book religions, don't cut it. We got to reassess a value system that will endure and does not depreciate this life. Okay, thank you. Bye. Thank
Thank you
you.
for your comments. Anybody else? Seeing none, we do have a motion. Is there a second?
Andrew, second.
We also have a second. We'll call for the vote.
Supervisor Dole,
Aye.
Supervisor Hagman,
Hagman, aye.
Mayor Log Dawson is absent. Board Member Padilla Campos,
Yes.
and Mayor McCallum.
Yes,
Motion passes 4 ayes.
very good. We'll go on to our next item, which is to adopt a resolution recognizing funds, et cetera, presented by Walter Shin. Walter.
Hi, good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Walter. I'm one of the managers in the Technology Advancement Office. So today I'll be presenting on several items, including adopting a resolution and recognizing funds for the Carl Moyer State Reserve, Enhanced Fleet Modernization Program, and Clean Cars for All, reimbursing the general fund, issuing a program announcement, and amending contracts. Next slide, please. So before we move on, I wanted to take this time to clarify that there's a lot of moving parts in this agenda item involving basically 3 separate programs. So to better clarify, staff is essentially adopting and recognizing 2 separate programs. So one, we have the Enhanced Fleet Modernization Program, Clean Cars for All, what we also called our Replace Your Right program. And 2, we have the Carl Moyer State Reserve program. So under this Carl Moyer program, staff is proposing to amend awards from those previously approved in February, and to also release a program announcement. The third program is a US EPA targeted airshed grant, where staff is proposing to amend and execute a contract with Volvo Technology of America. Next slide, please. So a quick background with Carl Moyer State Reserve Funds. So per California Health and Safety Code, CARB has the authority to reserve up to 10% of Carl Moyer program funding to directly fund what is considered a covered source or an eligible project category. CARB reserves this sole authority to distribute this state reserve funding. For the current fiscal year, a total of $12.4 million is available statewide, and South Coast AQMD's allocation is $5.3 million, or 43%, including admin. The $5 million in available project funds will be used towards funding eligible ZE equipment, zero emission equipment under the Carl Moyer program. And as a result, staff will be issuing a program announcement and will be soliciting zero emission off-road replacement and engine repower projects. Staff is proposing to begin accepting applications on August 6th, with the application deadline closing in October 15th, or when AQMD reaches 5 million in applications, whichever comes first. Next slide, please. Staff has been implementing the Replace Your Right program since 2015. It's a scrap and replace program focusing on light-duty vehicles, where up to 9,500 can be provided for the replacement of such vehicles with cleaner alternatives, provided that income requirements are met. To date, over 11,000 vehicles, transportation vouchers, and e-bikes have been replaced with over $88 million. This has been a very highly popular program with an emphasis on underserved communities, and approximately 93% of applicants of this program reside within these underserved communities. To continue this program, staff is proposing to recognize up to $5.9 million from CARB. Next slide, please. So moving back to the Carl Moyer program, this slide represents and highlights 6 awards which need to be amended to either correct its company name, project category, award amount, or its case-by-case status with CARB. These corrections are needed and are due in part to either calculation or typographical errors, or where applicants did not provide the correct company names. Next slide, please. So lastly, shifting towards the US EPA targeted airshed grant project. So in July 2019, the board awarded $2.1 million, including admin, to develop and demonstrate with projects with Volvo Technology of America, battery electric excavators and wheel loaders, which eventually resulted in the launch of their zero emission construction equipment line in 2022, correct. So of the $2.1 million, 500,000 in project funds and 60,000 in admin funds remain unspent. So at which time staff recommended to EPA to allocate this unspent amount towards the deployment of up to 13 Volvo zero-emission off-road equipment. So EPA approved this recommendation, and thus staff is proposing to amend its current contract with Volvo Technology of America by adding this deployment phase and extending the contract term to December 2025 to allow time for deployment. Next slide, please. So to conclude, staff is recommending to adopt a resolution for the Carl Moyer State Reserve and recognizing funds up to $5.3 million. And as a result, issue a program announcement to solicit zero-emission off-road project using these funds, and to also amend awards under the Carl Moyer program. Staff is also recommending to recognize up to $5.9 million from CARB to continue the implementation of the Replace Your Right program and to reimburse the general fund. And lastly, to amend and execute a contract with Volvo Technology of America to develop, demonstrate, and deploy zero-emission off-road equipment. So that concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Any comments, questions from committee members? Go ahead.
Sorry, about the Replace Your Ride program, did we ever figure out that 1099 question, if folks would receive it? I don't remember where we left off on that.
Correct. Erin, I don't know if you want to answer it. I can answer it.
I can answer it. This is Ruby from legal. We did obtain an IRS private ruling letter on it, and they told us that we do not have to issue 1099s for those.
That is great news. Thank you. Thank you for that
for this
update.
program and for all the other air districts that have the
Similar program.
EFMP, the Replace Your Right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Very good.
That's it.
Anybody else?
I'll move it.
Seeing none, we'll go to public comment. Anybody in the public wish to comment on this particular item? Seeing none, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Supervisor Dole.
Aye.
Supervisor Hagman.
Hagman, aye.
Mayor Lock Dawson is absent. Board Member Padilla-Campos.
Yes.
Chair Rodriguez is absent, and Mayor McCallum.
Yes.
Motion passes 4 ayes.
Thank you. On to item 3, adopt a resolution to recognize funds and accept terms and conditions of the 2022 Port and Freight Infrastructure Program, and this will be presented by May Wong.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. So next slide, please. A little background of these items. In January last year, we submitted a $76 million proposal in response to California $1.2 billion notice of funding opportunities released by CalSTA under their ports and freight infrastructure programs. And we were awarded $76 million to deploy, develop and demonstrate a liquid hydrogen freight fuel cell locomotive, partner with a WebTex, as well as installs 376 DC fast chargers and 19 hydrogen fuel dispensers at 7 Pelagius sites to support zero emissions heavy-duty vehicles, partnering with Pelagius. And MSRC contribute $11.7 million to co-share the Pelagius project, and the WebTech fuel cell locomotive also received a $500,000 congressional allocations to co-fund the projects. Next slide, please. So last December, our board had recognized the $76 million from CalSTA and the $500,000 from DOE, also approved the contract execution with Pelagius and WebTex. Our staff since then been working with Caltrans on the agreement. So in order to receive these funds, we need to adopt resolutions and accept terms and conditions and enter into agreement with CalSTA and Caltrans. Next slide, please. So recommended action is to accept the adopt the resolution and authorize our executive officer to execute and amend the agreement with Caltrans and its delegated authority. Also, the Caltrans fund is on a reimbursement basis. So we would like to obtain the temporary loan from our Greenfield Fund to issue payment to WebTech and Pelagius, where we're waiting for the reimbursement from Caltrans. And the $500,000 allocation from DOE include a $24,000 admin fund. So we would like to reimburse our general fund for the admin costs. That concludes my presentations. Happy to answer any question.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Comments, questions?
Move the item.
We have a motion. We'll ask for public comment first. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, can I have a second on? We have a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Supervisor Dole,
Aye.
Supervisor Hagman, Mayor Lock Dawson is absent, Board Member Padilla Campos,
Yes.
Chair Rodriguez is absent, and Mayor McCollum.
Yes.
Motion passes 4 ayes.
Next, we have our other business item. Is there any other business we need to talk about? Seeing none, we'll go on to general public comment for items not on the agenda. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to provide general public comment? Seeing none, we will then stand adjourned until our meeting in.
You have one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi.
Excuse me.
Hi,
I'm
my name-
sorry, I didn't.
No problem at
Gotta
all.
have it.
I
Please.
actually didn't expect to speak, but I was invited to, so I'm a friend of Michael Cacciotti's and I represent, my name is Tony Stephen, I'm sorry, and I represent a group in the Pasadena and South Pasadena area. I mean, I work at a Caltech startup company, formerly Materia Incorporated, and over the years, we've worked with a number of students and groups at Caltech that are working in areas of biodegradable polymers, lithium, new lithium technologies, and hydrogen storage. Those companies are from Caltech and MIT, and I've talked to them about this group here, and I've been to a number of your meetings and been online, and I just wanted to introduce not myself, but these companies at some point in the near future and reach out to your technical team and invite you to come see us at Caltech and maybe revisit some of the areas that we're working on and bring you up to date on some really neat new technologies they're fledgling companies. Some of them are in process and some are still in the academic and developmental stages at Caltech, but moving on as we speak. So I just wanted, by introduction, just to introduce myself and then these entities, I will be inviting them to come speak for themselves. I think some of them are listening, but didn't decide to speak on their own behalf, but we will we'll bring them to the forefront in the near future. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for your comments. Sorry I missed you. So we're now adjourned until our August meeting, August 16th. I wish everyone would have a great summer. And if we don't see you before then, be safe.